Hey dividend investors, today I am going to be breaking down one of the biggest stocks that I am personally looking at the most right now, and that is Carnival Cruise Lines. Carnival is the largest cruise line in the world currently right now, even though there's a pandemic going on and there's zero cruises happening. This is a very risky stock, and I just really wanted to talk about it today. So let's get down and let's really check out Carnival Cruise Lines and see what this stock has to offer. So I would just like to really say kudos to Yahoo versus Google. Google currently has their forward dividend at 12 point something percent, which is a lie. Carnival Cruise Lines did remove their dividend recently, and they are currently not paying a dividend. So before you go into this thinking that there's a dividend, there is no dividend as of right now. However, there is a benefit of owning the stock if you go on cruises, and I'm going to be explaining that to you right now. So by owning, at least right now, by owning Carnival Cruise Line stock, and I can only assume that they're going to want to continue this because, of course, keeping the stock price high is a benefit, especially when you have a lot of loans that you need to pay back. So what I mean by this is the benefit that you would have if you own currently 100 Carnival shares. All you need is 100. Is now, when you go on that next Carnival cruise, you're actually going to get some onboard credit by just owning shares. So what you need to do is contact Carnival after you've booked your cruise and show them proof. Maybe you have to send them a proof of certificate just saying that you actually own it, maybe a screenshot of your trading app. I'm not too sure how they have to do it, but there is a paper that you need to fill out, but it's worth it. I think you're getting like 100, it depends on the length of your cruise. I think it goes up to $250 of onboard credit, and depending on how many cruises you go on, that can really add up. And if you go on a lot of cruises, so like myself, I like to try and go on at least one cruise a year, that adds up over time. And that could literally, that itself could literally pay for the stock itself. So keep that in mind. And at 100 shares right now, today, it's trading at $17 a share. At 100 shares would be roughly $1,760 plus your commissions and all that other stuff. So at $1,700, and by owning 100 shares, you are literally getting a ton of stuff. Like if you were to go for like a 14-day cruise, get $250, do that once a year, because we're going to have vacations anyways once this coronavirus stuff goes away, literally, that itself could pay for itself within 8 years if you had one cruise, 14-day cruise, every single year. That's huge. So onboard credit buys stuff like shirts and all of the other knickknacks that you would generally be buying anyways. So that alone is good. I would also assume that they will probably start up their dividend in the future, probably I would say in 3 to 5 years. It's not going to happen right away, and they'll be paying a dividend as well. So I personally really like Carnival stock because of that, and that's probably why I'll be buying quite a few shares very soon. I just want to see it dip one more time. I want to see it dip just a bit. I want to get it under $15, and then when that happens, I'm going in, and I'm going to get a minimum of 200 shares. And let me explain to you why. At 200 shares, if the price doubles, then I can now sell 100 shares, get my money back essentially. That last 100 shares is basically free money. It's just sitting there. I've already made my money back, so the $100 or the 100 shares sitting there is just house money at that point. And then from there, what I'm doing is letting it sit there. If it grows, it grows. If it goes down, it goes down. I've already made my money back. And what that's doing for me now is when they start paying a dividend, I'll be getting a dividend. And then from there, I'll be able to get my money on my cruises. So this is why I really like Carnival Cruise. But let's look at the chart really quick and just see it's a very scary stock. I'm going to put it that way. So this is the 1 year chart, and as we can see over here, it was starting to go up. it was looking good. I went on a cruise right about there. And then the news about the coronavirus started hitting right about there. And as we can see, it started going down because they had a ship that had coronavirus, and it wasn't looking all that good. It basically dipped from about $57-ish down to just over 40. And that alone is a very big drop. And at that point, I was actually really contemplating, hey, this coronavirus thing, it's really not going to be that bad. I was wrong. And good thing I didn't buy in. Anyways, so then it tanked because, of course, when a company is not allowed to really operate, it's not going to make any money. And then it tanks. If you're a business owner, you've probably seen this. And then the one part that got me excited was this right here, where it went down, bounced back up, down again to the same point, double bottom, and then it started bouncing back up. And I was like, oh, well, I should buy in when it hits that mark one more time, which is roughly around the point where it's at right now. And I was like, nah, there's going to be more bad news. It's just going to keep on going. This is just a false positive. And I was sort of right. It leveled off. And at that point, I was like, well, okay, it's leveled off. I should get in. I still haven't. I still am not in this stock. However, now it's almost at a double top once again. And whenever anything hits a double bottom or a double top, there's usually a consequence in the opposite direction. So how I like to look at this is if it's a double bottom, that's a W. It means win. You're going to win, generally speaking. Not all the time, but generally. If it's an upside down W, so a double top almost, where it goes like this, that means that it's going to lose. So it's going to, I personally think if it doesn't go past $18-ish right now, it's going to drop probably back down to about 15, which seems to be the long, almost year-long level that it kind of has been sitting at. It's kind of bounced up from its bottom a few times, but that's about it. So if it doesn't go past $18 or $19, then I personally think it's going to go back down to the average it's been for the last quite a few months, which is around 15, and that's when I'm going to be personally buying in. However, keeping in mind that this double top is not totally level, it was a bit higher over here than it is here, and this is because of the coronavirus vaccine that has now been announced, and they're going for emergency use. So because the emergency use vaccine is not going to be really widespread until the end of next year, they're expecting by halfway through next year, 2021, that most of the world's going to be vaccinated. And if that's the case, then I personally think that what's going to happen on the cruise ships is they're going to ask if you can show proof of you either having a vaccine done or you're going to be forced to wear a mask. And I really think that you're going to be forced to wear a mask for at least a year or two past the date. They really don't want to have any negative news. Let's face it, the Americans, Canadians, the Western world in general, and a lot of other parts of the world are starting to grow on the whole let's sue everybody movement. And from there, I don't think that they're going to say, hey, you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to until all this stuff blows to the wayside, and they'll open everything back up. But at the same point, I cannot wait to get back on a cruise. I cannot wait. And if you are a cruise goer like myself, then you are probably thinking the exact same. So there is always going to be a market for cruises. For people who say that the cruise market is finished, those are the ones who don't like cruises, so don't listen to them. Anyways, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to really ask your own financial advisors for information. Don't go by what you see on the internet like on this channel, because of course I have my own biases and so does everybody else. I'll see you guys again next time.